Hi, my name is Will English, owner of English Management Solutions. We are Quickbooks point of sale specialists, and today I'd like to cover how to use the Report Center. Our contact information is on the screen. I am using QuickBooks point of sale version 19. However, all the information I'm going to show you applies to all the earlier versions as well. So, to go into the Report Center, we're going to go ahead and click on Reports and then Report Center. You can see that we have the reports are divided up under various sections under the All Reports menu option. If you click on Overview, this will give you some relevant reports under the appropriate sections. However, I like to go under All Reports. One of the reports that we'll really find useful is this item summary. Now notice that if I hover over the icon, it will actually give me a sample report. So as I'm going through the reports, if you want to see what it's going to look like before you run it, you can go ahead and hover over this icon. Now notice that it is sample data and not your data. One other thing we recommend is down at the bottom here, we check the prompt to modify report options before running a report. The reason we can do that is oftentimes it's difficult and time-consuming to run the report and then have to go back and modify it as need be. Therefore, if we have this box checked, it will offer us the opportunity to go in and set our filters and date ranges before running the report. Item summary, again, is one of the most useful reports in the program. So let's take a look at it in greater detail. We can click on Display. Again, because I have that box checked, it brings up all of this information on Run a Report. Notice that I have it set for last 30 days. So what ends up happening is in QuickBooks point of sale, reports are sticky. What I mean by that is anything that I have set previously will continue to say in that same preferences until in fact I click on this Revert button. The Revert button is extremely useful. There are many times that we've done a support call and the client says the report is not showing the information that they want. We take them into this screen and we click on Revert and voila, the report is now fixed. Makes me look like a genius, but again, it's just simply knowing this Revert button. So I'm going to click on it now and you can see what happens. You can see that it changed the date range to this month to date. Since we're in 2021, there's really no information there. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to change to the last 90 days and apply filter. You can see now that we have the report. By default, it is filtered for department, vendor next, item name, etc., etc. Quantity sold, the price, the cost, the margin. So again, this is a very useful report to be able to determine the profitability of your products. Let me show you how to use the modify to be able to customize this to get information that you want. So again, I'm going to click on the modify button. Keep in mind the revert that we talked about. I'm going to click on add or remove columns. You can see here that I have a number of different columns that I can add. The one that I find useful is total margin dollars. Over here, we are sorted by department and we are creating subtotals for this field. I can sort by any of the columns that I have. So the one that I find most useful other than department is vendor. And again, I'm going to create subtotals for this field. I'm going to click Save. I'm going to click Run. You can see now that our sort is by vendor. We could also simply click on each of the columns to get the same sorting. But in this case, I'm going to memorize this report, so I want it done by vendor. Let's look at a couple of other things. Filter data allows me to go through and look at specific information. For example, if I were in a multi-store installation, I can create a report for one store or more. Other things here, if I wanted to just see a specific set of departments here, I can click on the little icon and I can choose the specific departments that I want to see. And you can see we have quite a bit of filters here. Now notice that I have the ability to include or exclude. So for example, if I wanted to exclude ABC distributors, I would click on that. I would choose the drop down and I would say exclude. And now it's run the report with ABC distributors excluded. I have a report that I want to save. To save this and memorize it for future use, it's very simple. I'm going to click on the Want To menu and memorize this report. Note that the default name comes up and I can go ahead and change that. So item summary, past 90 days, etc. Now keep in mind that if I go in and memorize the report and I don't do this, that I'm going to have item summary 1, 2, 3, up to, I've actually had clients that'll have a report and it'll have up to 20, 30. So we want to make sure that we provide some meaningful names here. The other thing I can do is I can create groups by clicking on Manage My Reports, and I can create a new type, and you can see that I've already created a manager group here. I can change, I can modify. So report grouping is very important as well. Click on OK, and at this point now I have memorized this report. Therefore, to rerun it, I simply go back into Report Center, and you can see that I have memorized reports here and item summary last 90 days. Other things that I can do in my reports is I can go ahead and let's say that I want to look at an item, the item list. Again, because I have the box checked, it's going to provide me all of these options. Let's do a couple of other things. Change the report appearance. So I can change the orientation, whether it's landscape or portrait. I can put in the report title here. This is what's going to print on the report rather than what I've memorized, etc., etc. So I can go in and change that. I save this. I can also set the report access level. So what happens is, based on the security settings that I have set up in QuickBooks Point of Sale, I can restrict who can see this report. This is a medium security report. Therefore, if I wanted to change it and make it high security, I simply would go ahead and click on that. And you can note the various groups that can run that. One other thing I'm going to show you is the dashboard. I find the dashboard extremely useful, especially in a multi-store environment. It gives you information about the sales year to date, your best-selling items, etc. I can go in here and I can modify this report and say that I want to show number of units, number of the transactions, best-selling items. Again, I'm going to go ahead and click on Edit here, change my date range, last 90 days, save, so you can see these are the best-selling items. Again, let's modify this as well. And so you can go through here and you can customize the report dashboard. I can also click on this and I can choose to edit and change all of these reports, add reports that are relevant. In addition, I can add an additional page here. Remember I told you for the multi-store environments? So what I do is I create a dashboard page for each of the locations, and then I create an overall dashboard page. Again, under the report, we have Report Center and Dashboard. Hopefully, by listening to this tutorial, you have learned how to use the reports in a more effective way. If you have any questions at all about QuickBooks Point of Sale, if you need pricing for the software or hardware, please reach out to us at the information that we've given you on the screen.